one last game, I think, and it's time to introduce the current baby of the bunch, the HMAS Vampire. This started out as, well, confusingly, it started out as a V-class destroyer leader. So her original name in British service actually started with W. In 1933, she was given to the Australian Navy, and she's then proceeded to serve in various capacities up to, I believe, 1942. Unfortunately, her World War II service, most of it was, well, the early half of it was in the Mediterranean theatre, where she did pretty well for herself. Unfortunately, her two major engagements in the Pacific were utter disasters. She was one of the escorts for Force Z when it left Singapore, and what that meant was that when Japanese land-based air bombers decided to have a go, she was trying to provide support, with a grand total of one 20mm cannon, a few 40mm pom-poms, and a couple of 50 cal machine guns. Both Prince of Wales and Repulse were sunk by the Japanese air attack. A little while later, she was escorting HMS Hermes, Britain's first aircraft carrier. The Japanese had launched what would become known as the Indian Ocean Raid. And as part of that, Japanese carriers were prowling the Indian Ocean. HMS Hermes and Vampire, and I believe a few other ships, were ordered out of the port at Trycomeli. The Japanese were getting a bit close, and they promptly did that. Unfortunately, they didn't leave fast enough. The Japanese spotted Hermes, which, ironically enough, wasn't carrying any aircraft at the time, and they launched an attack wave off, I believe it was Shokaku. The first attack wave arrived, pulverised the Hermes, and left. They didn't actually know Hermes had been sunk, however, so they returned home, recovered their bombers, rearmed, launched a second attack wave. When that second attack wave got to the location of Hermes, they found Vampire and the sinking aircraft carrier, so they pulverised Vampire, and that was pretty much the end of it. There was also a second HMAS Vampire in service. I believe it was a Daring-class destroyer in the 1950s. A lot of us were wondering if we were going to see that ship as a Tier 10 premium, but it looks like it's not going to be the case. You can't have two ships named Vampire, after all. It gets confusing. I realise we have got town-class cruisers at both Tier 3 and Tier 8 in this game for the British, and we used to have them at Tier 7 as well, but the Belfast is no longer on sale. Make of that what you will, but having two ships called Vampire, probably pushing it. Anyhow, the HMAS Vampire, she has got one triple torpedo launcher, little bit unusual, 4 quick-fire 4-inch guns, 102mm, and she is a Commonwealth destroyer, so not the greatest captain trainer the world has ever seen. The only other ship in that line, of course, is the HMAS Perth, which is also temporarily unavailable for sale, although Wargame have indicated that's a temporary benching and not a permanent withdrawal, like the Kutuzov and the Belfast. So let's have a quick glance down her modules. It's standard Tier 3 stuff, really, so magazine mod, because I'm not blowing Juliet Charlie flags on a Tier 3, Damcon 1, ammo and consumables are absolutely standard. Interestingly, she gets the US smoke launcher, so that's the same launcher, I believe, as the Wicks, as well as fairly standard speed boosts. And besides that, it's all pretty standard Tier 3 fare. Manoeuvrability is blistering, rudder shift of 2.5 seconds, top speed for the tier is a pretty good 34 knots, she's a reasonably small target, and she is at least partially British. Well, she's flying the White Ensign, which I believe the Australian Navy... Actually, that's a good point. Did the Australian Navy fly the White Ensign? I thought they had their own ensign at the time. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to hop on to Wiki, because Royal Australian Navy, I am absolutely sure... Okay, they've got their own naval ensign at the moment. I think they might have flown the White Ensign in World War II. Huh. Interesting. Right, 1901 it was all integrated into Commonwealth Naval Forces. The Navy was then granted the title of Royal Australian Navy. And right, so RAN World War II ensign. Oh right, oh no, that was the Australian. That's the one they flew from 67 onwards. What were they flying in 1941? Well, 1939 through 1941. I have a suspicion. You know, I think they might actually have flown the White Ensign because they were pretty much an adjunct of the Royal Navy at the time. Interesting question. I can't find an immediate answer either. So, we'll leave that to one side and just get into a battle. Very surprised that they're flying the same ensign as the Royal Navy's main battle fleet. That must have been a recipe for confusion. On the other hand, they were operating the same ships, training on pretty much the same doctrine, and operating on pretty much the same principles, speaking the same language, so... Oh, of course, I forgot to switch the Twitter, didn't I? Damn it. Oh, well, I'll deal with that later. Welcome to World of Warships, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Tamanon, for the cheer. Was that because I finally worked it out? Right. Okay, we've got a St. Louis, a Callion, a Tenny, and oh, looky, someone took their Clemson out. Who wants to bet that Hemorrhoids intends to be a pain in the arse? Pun completely intended. So... Right. Oh no! Let's go! Geronimo! In this case, Geronimoing up to point A at some speed. We'll just plug in the Spood Beast, and while that is sorting itself out, I'm just going to flick across and take care of a couple of things. Audio might go a little funny at this point because Twitch invariably loads in with its audio enabled. So how fast can I kill my audio? That fast. Okay, so edit that. World of War. Okay, come on. World of Warships. Junk. There we go. All sorted. Oh, and I should turn my audio back on. And where did I leave that? There we go. Right, so Love Boat sounds sexy. Yes, I'm sure it does. Spood Beast. Spood Beast is... It's a Flarmouth thing. He once mispronounced Speed Boost when he got a little excited and, well, it stuck. Anyhow, torpedoes on this thing. Okay, so standard mode is the British single shot. Widespread is really wide. And that guy is... Okay, there's a Clemson. So we're going to run 2 and then we're going to disappear. Haha, can't catch me. And I've still got 1 in the tubes, so we'll just pop that down the bearing. Don't think we're going to be so lucky as to catch that Clemson, honestly, but did give him something to think about. Now, torpedoes are reloading. 45 seconds. It's not the fastest load. It's about 70 seconds to reload the tubes on this thing. Not great, but middle of the road if you consider some of the others. Now, how do I play this? I can... At the moment, I'm blocking the cap. I could engage the Campbelltown. And in fact, I'm going to end up engaging the Campbelltown, whether I like it or not. Got spotted. There we are. 1 over pen. Torp choose A to hit. And the Campbelltown, well, our Campbelltown just nailed the freehand. Apparently the Brits are out to play in this game. This is going to be interesting. There we go. Turn away. Got him on fire. Hit him again. Drink again. And just keep drinking. This thing feels very like a tier 3 gallant would be a good description of her. She's decently fast, reasonably agile, except when somebody smacks the rudder. Oops. But the guns, while they're versatile, do rely on rate rather than weight to do the job, even compared to 5-inch guns on the likes of the Clemson. Does Clemson have 5s? No, I think they switched to 5s with the tier 5, the Nicholas. There we go. Hit him again. And I think that will have persuaded him to duck back. Right, so another blind shot. We're going to lose the St. Louis, annoyingly. St. Louis. Ow. And, ooh. Somebody killed the bear as well. Oh dear. Right, torpedoes are running. Oh no. No. Okay. Given that those torpedoes were shotgunned down the bearing, almost probably without any real hope of hitting something. Yeah. Oh dear. And yes, Tamanon, it is damn wide considering that that's only 3 torps in the arc. Unfortunately, I am now going to have to try to rush this Campbelltown. And, well... Oh no, I might be able to get a... Okay, can I get that in before he caps? No, damn it. Got a hit, but... She's got very good forward gun angle, so I mean, I've got all 3 guns firing, and I'm, what, 20 degrees off the beam? Maybe less? I can fire number 1 and 2 straight ahead. I mean, gun angles on this thing are spectacularly good. Of course, that doesn't excuse my absolutely abysmal aim, but hey, there you go. Can't have it all. Come on. No. My destroyer. There we are. Oh, come on. Got you. Got you. Finally, about time. I'm just going to slip into this smoke, if you don't mind, and behind this hill. And also, I still have that St. Louis... What is the American pronunciation of that, by the way? Is it St. Louis, Saint Louis, or something else? That's not too bad a comparison, actually. Campbelltown was US built. She was a World War I flush decker. But similar period, similar kind of design requirements. The V leaders, the W series as I think they're sometimes called, were in a similar kind of design bracket. Okay, there's the Louis. Right, so we'll just finish this cap and then the Louis, wow, we gotta go now. Right, cap complete. So, who wants to take? Oh well, we're taking a Clemson whether we want to or not. Has he doubled up his guns? That's the question. I think he has doubled his guns. Yeah, he has doubled his guns. Stern arcs are not nearly as good as the forward arcs, by the way. We're going to pop that, deploy smoke, break contact, and give a little left hook, and then we're going to snap round and catch this guy close quarters. It's so stupid that it might actually work. Campbelltown should have bonus ramming. Yes, it should have bonus for ramming an hour later. So basically, you get rammed by a Campbelltown, and then 5 games later your ship explodes for no obvious reason. Sounds reasonable, doesn't it? Oh, there are his torpedoes now. That detection's coming off the Louis. The Clemson... Okay, we've broken contact, but the Clemson saw my approach. So, speed boost and go. This would have been better if I hadn't staggered out in front of the St. Louis detection, but now the shoe is firmly on the other foot. Oh yeah, if this guy can fire 4 guns straight off, he still outguns me, doesn't he? Okay, and I think he is at least as good a shot and a destroyer pilot as I am, but I also think he may be about to run himself aground. Jink. Okay. Caught him. He's going to be smoking. Alright, hold fire. Going to be mutual detection for a brief second because of... Ah, no, of course. Mutual loss of contact. Right. Launch 1. Launch 2. Launch 3. Now, who gets their target bearings better? That's the question. The answer is neither of us. Now, can I get onto an angle and surprise him? That's the next question. Okay, Clemmy. Oh, wait, no, I'm going to have to turn hard because the Phoenix is about to pick me up. Damn, this 6.3 kilometer detection radius. He's seen me. He's seen me. Oh, broke contact again, but he's going to get the proximity detection in a second. He knows my course. His guns are going to be round. He's going to have that advantage. Oh, he motored round the side of the island. Okay, interesting. Which means that my next bearing is now actually going to be the Clemson. Sorry, the Phoenix. At 3,000 meters. Or maybe not, because if I time this right, I'm going to have a proxy spot on the Phoenix just as he comes round. Of course, it's going to be mutual, so I'm going to have to rapid fire these torpedoes off. There we go, there's the proxy spot. Launch 1, launch 2, launch 3 inside, and motor. Come on, come on, come on. Beat those guns. Beat those guns. Damn it, he's still on the brakes. And the Clemson's over there. How did he pull that? Ah, well. It was a good plan while it lasted, but the Phoenix anticipated me and stood on the brakes. I should have thought a little more going into that last engagement. Hemorrhoids must have just looped round behind the island and come out. Very nice bit of manoeuvring there. Nice, entertaining bit of cat and mouse to finish with. No ram. Mediocre. I will not be sailing in Valhalla. Mind you, Hemorrhoids, I think, has just discovered Preparation H. Or possibly Preparation HE, depending on how fast that Wyoming and that Orion can reload. Come on. He's going for the torpedo shot. Seriously? You have a destroyer at 2,000 meters and you fired at the battleship? Oh, never mind. Berto takes care of that, but there is a torpedo in the water. Ooh, one up the stern for Mad Dodge. Has he got Damcon? Looks like it. He's controlled the flooding, or there wasn't any flooding in the first place, and that next salvo is going to miss, so they are going to salvage a win as Hannibal decides he's going to have himself some nice self-barbecued Phoenix. Possibly some torpedoes as well. Okay. There's the Phoenix popping out again. 8,700 health, but he's under the guns of an Orion, a Caledon, a Clemson, a Campbelltown. Okay, those last two don't count for much, but he hasn't got much health either, or much armour. So, let the beating begin. Hello, Clyde. Thank you for the host. It's coming up on the end of the show, actually, but thank you anyway. Okay, rounds coming down. Smack, 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 smack. He's down to 6.5. He's down to 4.2. Very lucky that the Wyoming didn't wreck him on that shot. Beating on Hannibal. Maybe he's got a Mars Candy, maybe he hasn't. But he's going to skid out in front of the Caledon in a second, and that will expose him. So, 4,000 health. Caledon's opening up with the armor piercing. First round misses. Second and third start coming in. Bounce. Smack, smack, smack. Takes a few more light hits. But it's broadside to broadside. Even Dremel is firing armor piercing. Now he's that close and that broadside on. He's looking for the Citadel and he gets it. Wrecked. Hi, Clyde. Okay, which leaves 2 battleships. Oh, I'm sorry. That would be 1 battleship. And 1 Baz-89-1 who is wondering where all his friends had gone. Well, never mind, you'll be joining them shortly. 993. 996. 999. Someone call the ambulance. 1000. So yeah, Vampire. She's a fun little ship. I wouldn't say she's necessarily a captain trainer or a credit maker, but if you want a quick little blast at low levels, yep. Especially if you're Australian. I suspect she's going to do well on the Southeast Asia server for that. And 960, the Campbelltown pretty much carried there. So, okay, what time is it? There are no friends, only cannon fodder. That's a little unfair. I mean, there's torpedo fodder as well.